What is going on, guys? So today I'm going to be talking about basically how I started a six-figure business with literally in the span of about 3 months. So again, none of this is meant to brag or anything like that. It's just kind of to show what's possible. And once you start doing stuff, it actually gets a lot easier down the road. So basically it took me a couple of years to, make my first six figures. And now it's just, obviously sped up tremendously. And all of that. But anyways, the six-figure business I sort of actually had to do with cars. And no, I didn't start like a car, I don't know the American word, car dealership, there we go. Car dealership or anything like that. But I found a couple of things that I saw an opportunity to do with cars, and honestly, I have to thank my ex-girlfriend for that. So, without that, I wouldn't be where I am today. But anyways, right, so basically, long story short, I had a car right up in Utah that I was using for college. Obviously, after breaking up, I saw no point in staying, so I kind of dipped out. But my car was still up there, and at that point, I'm like, you know what, screw it. I don't even want that car. Memories. I'm like, I'm done with it. So I ended up actually giving it to a buddy of mine. I'm like, yo, if you want it, you can take over the lease, and you can just pay me. He's like, done. So that's kind of how that came about. And then I got a car down here. And then a buddy of mine moved in with me, and he also got a car. And then he's like, yo, dude, I'm actually going up, right? He went back to visit his family in Europe, and he's just like, yo, I don't know what you want to do with my car. We still have a couple months on it. I'm like, I'll figure out something to do with it, right? So I was basically, I started renting out, because back when I was in college and I would go home for holidays or anything like that, I would basically rent out my car up in Salt Lake throughout the winter. So, obviously my monthly payments would not impact my bank account as much. So, I started doing that, and it started going really well. And I'm just like, oh, wow, okay. And then, I ended up getting a BMW i8 this summer. And that was kind of, at that point then, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to Greece for literally a month and a half. Let me upload this for like $250 a day. So, that started going well. So again, I didn't really truly start with the business up until in August. So again, I was dabbling around with it. I put my car on, I put my car off, I put my car on, I put my car off for like about a year. It was my Audi. Then at that point, with the i8, it was literally like, it was booked, but there was so many problems with that car. It was just a hassle having to call like my friends and everything, being like, yo, can you deal with this? Can you deal with this? And literally, I didn't even have I had one trip, the rest I had to all cancel. Ended up selling the car for the same I bought it at. Literally only had it for around 4 months. So then I'm like, crap, okay. I literally came back and I'm like, I have no car right now. So I'm like, crap, I need to buy a new one. So then I actually ended up buying a C7 Corvette 3LT Z51. So I'm like, okay, you know what, let me see if I can rent this out, because I was doing research. I'm like, okay, bet. Because personally, I've just never really been fans of Corvettes. I'm just not a fan of, honestly, American-made cars. I'm not trying to sound rude or anything. It's just, I think German engineering obviously, it speaks for itself. So again, it's just a bunch of power with nothing really going for it. The C8 obviously is different, C7 not really. So I'm like, let me rent this out, right? And at that same time, a buddy of mine, he actually gave me a BMW 3 Series to be able to drive, because I basically just kind of went to the gym and that was about it. I didn't really go anywhere. It's like 3 minutes from my house. So at that point, like cars were coming and going, and there was really no need. So I fully rented out. So about the last week of July, the Corvette literally made the monthly payment in about a week, and I'm just like, holy crap, we're almost, yeah. And I'm just like, holy crap, okay, let's see what else I can do with this, right? So then I texted my buddy up in Utah. I'm like, yo, if you want to rent out the Audi, it's actually really good. You keep the profits, help pay for the car payment, whatever you want to do. He's like, all right, I'm down. So I did that. And I'm just like, okay, wait, I also have this car down here. Let me rent this out as well. And then I'm like, okay, let me get another car. So I ended up getting a Tesla for Utah. That started renting out really well. I literally bought it, and I had about a week to return it because I bought it through Vroom. And at that point, I was just kind of like, there wasn't really a good rental. And literally, I called Vroom that day. I'm like, yo, pick this car up. I really don't want it anymore. I've driven 200 miles on it. Just take it. That same night, literally, I was stoned. And then I got this rental request for literally a month, right? $3,500 and I was like, yo, what the fuck, you know? And I was stoned. So I didn't know if it was like really happening, but it was, right? Chase confirmed it, all good to go. So I'm like, crap, you know what? I called room, I'm like, I'm keeping this, fuck you guys, you know? So I kept the car, started renting out really well. And you know, that ended up leading to another thing. And back in basically 2021, the start of 2021, me and Chase, we were actually doing car flipping, right? It was super fun for us. Basically, I was just the cash. He looked at the cars, made sure it worked all well. He fixed them up. We split the profits 50-50. So I'm like, okay, let's, you know, get back into this. We got some downtime now. We're not doing crap except hitting the gym daily. So let's do this. So we decided to buy a Range Rover. The guy listed it for around 8. I ended up buying it, I believe, for 5 cash. And you know, I'm like, okay, crap. Some family stuff happened, so I actually had to take a quick flight. And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna make it for like the next basically month. He's like, okay, no worries. So I'm like, I'm gonna actually list this car if it's chill. Does it work? He's like, yeah, it's all good to go. I'm like, perfect. We listed it, just getting rentals after rentals after rentals. And it was a 2012, right? And it is valued between $12,000 to $16,000. So it would have been a great flip car. But basically from August up until December, it already made $5,200, which means it already made the initial investment plus $200 on top of it. And I haven't even flipped it yet, right? So that was a really good decision. I'm going to flip it and obviously we do stuff with the profits. So while that whole thing was going down, I just kept adding more cars to my collection. I bought my buddy a Jag down here. I'm like, dude, it rents out. Like, you'll be able to drive it because he was taking care of, my other 2 cars that I was renting down here, right? And now we've basically expanded to 9 cars in total. 2 Mustangs, 2 Teslas, 1 Corvette, 1 Jag, 1 Audi, 1 Range Rover, and actually no, so we're at 8 cars right now. Oh, and 1 BMW, so 9 cars. So at that point, I'm like, you know what, crap. So I'm actually getting another car, right? A Tesla for Hawaii now, because I have one in Utah and one in Cali. That's when I did the road trip to California. And then I'm also getting another Mustang convertible for California, right? So that'll be 2 more cars, which then makes a total of 11 cars. So right now, every single month, it is bringing me in above $9,000. So what that basically means, right? And again, I'm counting just starting since August, and it's slowly been wrapping up. So September was basically the first $9,000 month, and since then it's just been going up. So September, October, November, December, right? All of those, I think the lowest of those 4 months was $8,600. So the month before was $4,700, and the month before was literally like $700. So, because that was only the Corvette at the time. So, you know, basically from August, September, October, November, December, in basically a couple of months, obviously it scaled to over 6 figures theoretically, because throughout the year, that's what it will be at. And, you know, as more cars are being added, you know, my monthly payments are going down because I'm starting to pay more and more on it, you know. So it's like, okay, but what are the costs? What are the profits, right? So each month with insurance, car payments, because here's the thing, you can either buy these cash or you can finance them. I kind of did half and half. For example, on the Jaguar, I did about over 50% I paid up front for that car. So my monthly payment on that is very low. You know, for the Corvette, again, I paid almost the whole thing up front. The loan is now almost completely paid off. So again, I believe I paid 70% of that car up front. You know, so the Tesla was fully financed. The secondary Tesla was, I believe, also fully financed, where I might have put like $2,000-$3,000 down. The Range Rover was obviously paid cash. The Audi was all paid up front. So, you know, it just comes down to that. But with insurance, monthly payments, basically it is sub $3,000. I am bringing in currently around $9,000 after paying everyone and doing all of that stuff, right? Because obviously they get to drive the cars for free. Because I buy the cars for them in a sense, they get to drive it for free. All they got to do is drop it off and pick them back up. Done and done, right? We have a very good system going. So I'm walking away with around $5,000 after paying people. It comes down in extra costs, around $5,000 to $6,000 depending on the month. because again, sometimes we make more than 9, sometimes less. So right now we're looking at $5,000 to $6,000 profit every month. The Hawaii I plan to add, that should add about another $1,000 of income into my pocket every month. The Mustang should hopefully add a couple $100 as well. So I'm honestly looking to basically within the next about 2 months to kind of grow this into over $11,000. My goal is actually 12, but I'm waiting for one more car to see how that's going to affect it. So my goal is with 12 cars, I want to be earning $12,000 every single month, because that way after I take away all my costs and expenses, as well as like the Corvette's almost paid off, Jag's almost done, stuff like that within the next 2 months, I want to get those paid off. So that way I'm looking at around $9,000 profit every single month just off of that. And it's mainly pacified for myself. I don't do too much on it anymore. I kind of let everyone run it. You run their cars, make their appointments, all of that. So it's basically just my account. My money was up front. So, and I just kind of set everything up, and now it's kind of going through the motions. I know that was a lot of info, but that's basically kind of how it started. And now at this point, I just do market research to see what states, what cars are the best, right, cost efficiency wise, and all of that. Because I was looking at the BMW i4. We have the C8 coming in. I got 2 of those. One as a flip, and then one as a potential rental to trade with the C7. Because obviously the price on that is starting to decrease as more C8s become available. And it's just going to continue for that, right? Now, I don't list any of my personal cars. My M8 is not on there. I'm not going to put it on there. Again, you guys know I'm also in the process of selling that. My R8, I'm not going to put on there. I don't intend to. So it's my personal car. I'm driving it. I'm the only one that's going to be driving it. So I'm not going to be renting it out. Accidents have happened. So far, I've been decently lucky with the amount of damage that has been caused to the cars. So again, that comes into the costs, but usually so far, I haven't had to really put much money out of pocket, right? A person forgot to, apparently, they were driving on the highway, the roof flew off on the Corvette because they didn't tighten it right. I'm like, how is that possible? The valet ended up damaging the Jag. The Corvette got literally run through like a curb like this big. I'm just like, wow. So add another valet. So the point is, don't take your car to the valet. But yeah, that's kind of how I built a 6-figure business theoretically in just September, October, November. So within around 3 to 4 months, a 6-figure business was kind of built. And yeah, that's kind of about it. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video of how to do this in a sense, or if you want to get into it. And it all comes down to, honestly, opportunity. Again, none of this would have happened if I didn't get dumped. So I'm very grateful for that. Honestly, I wouldn't be where I am today without that either. So again, it just comes down taking an opportunity and building something out of it. I could have just stuck to 1 car or 2 and said I'm good, but I decided to expand it, and I'm very thankful I did. So anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I apologize for talking fast. I didn't want this to turn into a 20-minute long video, but I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Peace out, guys.